Hi guys, in the last lesson we talked about organizing data and we said we can use frequency tables to organize data. A frequency table, just a reminder, is a table that includes the data points represented in a set and the number of times each data point is repeated. And we said it has two columns, one for the data point and the other one for the frequency. That means how many times that data point appears in the set. Today, we're going to talk about a graphical representation of data points after we organize them in a frequency table. And the first graphical representation we're going to talk about today is dot plots. Dot plots are a graphical representation of a data set on the number line and the frequency of each data point by dots. So now let's take a look at the first example so we can put all these definitions in practice. In example 1, Mr. Paley's advanced class course has 15 students who have the following grades. And the first question is to make a frequency table for the data. So to make a frequency table, I need to include the data point, tally, and the frequency. So the first data point is 74, and then 95, and 85, 90, 80, twice, 90, again, 74, again, 80, again, 85, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 90, and 95. So I have two 74s, 295, 585, 390, and 380. This is the frequency table. Now I need to make a dot plot. To make a dot plot, you need the number line, which I have in here. And this number line is labeled and scaled. We went from one dash to the next dash, and we went by twos to include all the data points that we have in the frequency table. All I need to do after I put the number line and I scale it is to put each data point on that number line. I have 74 twice, so I'm going to do the frequency as dots. 95 twice, 95 is going to be in between 94 and 96, and I have to make two dots. 85 5 times, 85 is in here, and I have 5 dots. 90, I have 3 dots. And 80, I have 3 dots. And this is what we call a dot plot because we're using dots to represent the frequency of the data point, and we have the data points on the number line labeled and scaled. The next concept we're going to talk about is the shape of the distribution. Let's take a look at the first picture. This is a graph where we have a dot plot. In this dot plot, we can see that most of the data is in the middle of the distribution. So looking at the middle of the distribution, you will see that you almost have two identical sides of the middle of the distribution. That's why this graph is called a symmetrical distribution. In the symmetrical distribution, the mean is always in the middle of the distribution, and the mean and the medians are very close to each other. they're equal each other or very close to each other. That's why the mean is a better representation of the center in this distribution. In the next graph, if you take a look at this dot plot, you'll see that most of the data are to the left side of the distribution, and the tail of the distribution is to the right. That's why this is a skewed right distribution, because we name the distribution based on the tail. And as you can see in this a graph, the mean is always in the middle of the distribution. The median is going to be very close to the to most of the data, which is right here. That means there will be a gap in between the mean and the median. And because there is a gap between the mean and the median, they're not close to each other. And in this case, the median is a better representation of the center. In the last graph, you will see that most of the data are to the right side of the distribution, and that the tail of the distribution is to the left. That's why this is called a skewed left distribution. The mean is in the middle of the distribution right here. The median is going to be among the most of the data. That means that there is a gap in between the mean and the median. They're not close to each other. They're not the same. And the median in this case is going to be a better representation of the center. So when we have a symmetrical distribution, the mean is a better representation of the center. When we have a skewed distribution, it doesn't matter to the right or left, the median is a better representation of the distribution. So if we take a look at the top distribution, we will see that most of the data is at the center of the distribution. That means this is a symmetrical distribution. So this is symmetrical. So last time we found out that the mean of this distribution is 84.87, and the median is 85. And as you can see, the mean and the median are very close to each other, which verifies that this distribution is symmetrical, and the mean is going to be a better representation of the center in this case.